Hello there, very good evening and welcome to the news tonight, your one stop for the day's top stories. I'm Tracy Shilshi. Let's start the show with the headlines. Parliament members condemn Pakistan's death sentence to Indian national Kulbhushan Jadhav. Home Minister Rajnath Singh assures Lok Sabha that government will do whatever it takes to bring him justice. In Rajya Sabha, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj calls Jadhav's trial farcical, warns Pakistan that carrying out the death penalty will be an act of premeditated murder. Rajya Sabha members express grave concern over farmers' distress. Deputy Chairman PJ Kurian asked government to talk to droughted farmers of Tamil Nadu to end their agitation for crop loan waiver. And the Swedish court remands Rakhmat Akilov in custody on Tuesday. The lawyer of the 39-year-old suspect who drove a truck to mow down pedestrians on a busy street says he has admitted to committing the terrorist crime. Let's start with what took place in Rajya Sabha today. India sent a stern message to Pakistan on Tuesday of dire consequences if it went on to execute Indian national Kulbhushan Jadhav on charges of being a raw spy. Speaking on the matter in the upper house, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj maintained that there was no evidence of any wrongdoing by Jadhav and that India will leave, in fact, no stone unturned to save him. Members across party lines expressed concern of the reprehensible act by Pakistan.
I would caution the Pakistan government to consider the consequences for our bilateral relationship if they proceed on this matter.
External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj issuing a clear warning to Pakistan in Rajya Sabha. Calling the trial of Kulbhushan Jadhav in Pakistan a farce, Swaraj said that carrying out the death penalty will be an act of premeditated murder. The minister also apprised the House that the Indian High Commission was informed only 3 hours after the verdict was pronounced. She further said Jadhav, who is being accused of being an Indian spy by Pakistan, was not given consular access.
They linked providing consular access to our acceptance of their position. Nevertheless, in the hope that some forward movement could be made, our response was constructive. We pointed out that consular access to Shri Jadhav would be an essential prerequisite in order to verify the facts and understand the circumstances of his presence in Pakistan.
Cutting across party lines, members expressed grave concern and urged the government to take all measures to secure justice for Jadhav.
तो क्या हमारी सरकार उसमें पूरी मदद करे कि ऐसे वकील उसके पास हों जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट में उसकी वहां की सुप्रीम कोर्ट में उसकी पूरी मदद करें, अदालत में ही हम जीत जाएं।
ये बड़ी गंभीर बात है। ये खाली हिंदुस्तान की चुनौती नहीं है, हमारे यहाँ तमाम आतंकवादी बंद हैं, हम उनको पाल रहे हैं, पोस रहे हैं, उनकी खातिर कर रहे हैं, लेकिन जिस तरीके से एक जाधव को उन्होंने हिंदुस्तान का एजेंट बनाकर फांसी की सजा सुना दी, ये एक देश को चैलेंज है।
Pakistan claims it arrested Jadhav after he entered Balochistan from Iran in March 2016. It further accuses Jadhav of being a research and analysis wing agent with plans to sabotage the $46 billion China-Pakistan economic corridor. On Monday, New Delhi summoned Pakistani High Commissioner Abdul Basit and handed over a démarche describing the court proceedings as farcical, and it also put on hold a scheduled release of several Pakistani prisoners that was to take place on Wednesday. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV. Lok Sabha members too came together and criticized Pakistan for unlawfully framing the Indian citizen Jadhav and awarding him the death sentence. The centre condemned Pakistan's actions and promised to take all steps possible to protect him. In the Lok Sabha, the centre on Tuesday condemned Pakistan's decision to hang Kulbhushan Jadhav. Making a statement, Home Minister Rajnath Singh said the government will do everything possible to get justice for Jadhav. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj also warned Islamabad that Jadhav's execution will harm bilateral relations.
यदि वैलिड इंडियन पासपोर्ट मिला है तो वह स्पाई कैसे हो सकता है, यह बात समझ में नहीं आती है। सजा जो सुनाई गई है, अध्यक्ष महोदया, भारत सरकार उसे स्ट्रांगली कंडेम करती है और मैं यह भी सदन को आश्वस्त करना चाहता हूं, जो लॉ एंड जस्टिस के बेसिक नॉर्म्स होते हैं उसको बिना ध्यान में रखे यह फांसी की सजा उन्हें सुना दी गई है कुलभूषण जाधव को। और सदन को मैं आश्वस्त करना चाहता हूं, चाहे इसके लिए जो भी करना पड़े भारत सरकार वह करेगी और कुलभूषण जाधव के साथ न्याय होगा। अध्यक्ष महोदय,
that the government and people of India would view very seriously the possibility that an innocent Indian citizen is facing death sentence in Pakistan without due process and in violation of basic norms of law, justice and international relations. I would caution the Pakistan government to consider the consequences of our bilateral relationship if they proceed on this matter.
Raising the matter during question hour, a united Lok Sabha unanimously condemned Pakistan's decision and urged the government to take every step to save Jadav's life.
पाकिस्तान की मिलिट्री अदालत एक अदालत नहीं है बल्कि एक बनाना अदालत है, जहां पर बगैर किसी एविडेंस के, बगैर किसी प्रूफ के उन्होंने फैसला दिया है। यकीनन इस शख्स को, हमारे हिंदुस्तान के शहरी को एक धोखा देकर ईरान से उसको पकड़कर लाए और सारी दुनिया के सामने इस तरह का एक नाटक कर रहे हैं।
And the unity of this House and the unity of this country must be translated internationally. The fact is, we prefer not to internationalize our problems with Pakistan. But this is one time when what Pakistan is doing is not only an assault on India, it is an assault on the bonds of international law, of international conventions that affect everybody.
मेरा भारत सरकार से आग्रह है कि जिस तरह से हमारे नागरिक को उसने प्रताड़ित करने का प्रयास किया, उसको फांसी की सजा दी है, वो भारत सरकार एक्शन ले, पाकिस्तान को टेररिस्ट राष्ट्र घोषित करे और पूरी पार्लियामेंट एक सोच के साथ एक रिजोल्यूशन पास करे कि पाकिस्तान हमारे नागरिक को बाइज्जत बरी करे।
कुलभूषण को सजाए मौत की सजा पाकिस्तान ने दिया। पाकिस्तान आतंक की फैक्ट्री चला रहा है और आतंकियों का गढ़ बन चुका है और लगातार चेतावनी के बावजूद भी सुधरने वाला नहीं है।
Congress leader Mallikarjun Kharge said that if Pakistan hangs Jadhav, it will be pre-planned murder. Kharge blamed Prime Minister Narendra Modi for not taking up the matter strongly so far.
आप हमेशा जाकर बगैर इनविटेशन से पाकिस्तान के प्राइम मिनिस्टर के बच्ची के शादी में जाते हो, क्या इसके बारे में आप बातचीत नहीं कर सकते थे? क्या डायरेक्टली मिल नहीं सकते थे? क्या टेलीफोन पे आप बात नहीं कर सकते थे? और इनको अगर नहीं बचाएंगे, मैं ये समझूंगा ये सरकार की कमजोरी होगी और भारत की कमजोरी होगी।
India has maintained that Jadhav's trial and sentence was a farce, since there is no credible evidence against him. With Ravindra Sheran, Pranav Goswami's report for Rajya Sabha TV. Well, India has said that it will go out of the way to ensure justice to Kulbhushan Jadhav and warned Pakistan that his execution will have consequences on bilateral ties. Political leaders cutting across party lines, of course, coming together in Parliament also, and to condemn that development and pressing the government, in fact, to take every step to help him. Politicians cutting across party lines condemned Pakistan's brazen act of awarding the death sentence to Kulbhushan Jadhav. While External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj sounded a stern warning to Pakistan, Congress urged Prime Minister Narendra Modi to mount diplomatic pressure on Pakistan. In a Twitter message, Congress spokesperson Randeep Surjewala called the death sentence to Jadhav a deliberate provocation to India. The Shiv Sena also sought the intervention of the United Nations to secure the release of the retired Indian Navy officer.
कि हमारी सरकार इस पे बहुत ही कड़े कदम उठाए और यूनाइटेड नेशंस में हमें ये बात लेकर जानी चाहिए, रिप्रेजेंटेशन दबाव डालना चाहिए, अन्य देशों की भी मदद लेनी चाहिए और पाकिस्तान को एक्सपोज करना चाहिए.
In a retaliatory action, India has put on hold the release of a dozen Pakistani prisoners who were to be repatriated after they completed their prison term. The Ministry of External Affairs maintains that the Indian High Commission in Islamabad was not even informed about Jadhav's trial in court.
No, I think it's highly reassuring for all of us, for every Indian, that across the party lines, the Indian Parliament has shown a rare solidarity in raising its voice against the manner in which Pakistan has handled this case of Jadhav.
This is very unfortunate, and as far as MA is concerned, that is the stand by our government, and that reaction is already given. We are condemning this act.
Pakistan has defended the death sentence to Kulbhushan Jadhav. In a statement, it says soldiers and civilians of Pakistan have given sacrifices for this country, and their sacrifices demand us to give a befitting reply to terrorists and those who aid and facilitate them. Those plotting against Pakistan will not be spared. Meanwhile, protests are witnessed across the country against Pakistan's decision. The BJP and the MNS led protest marches in Mumbai demanding Jadav's release. Muslim clerics also held similar protests in Lucknow. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. On to other news, and Rajya Sabha Deputy Chairman PJ Kurian today asked the government to talk to drought-hit farmers of Tamil Nadu to end their agitation for crop loan waiver. This after Rajya Sabha members expressed grave concern over the farmers' distress and alleged that no one from the government has even reached out to them. The government, however, denied it, saying that it was sensitive to the farmers' distress, however made no mention of a loan waiver.
As Tamil Nadu braves the worst hit drought in 140 years, with a 62% deficit rainfall, the upper house reiterated the demands of the state's drought-hit farmers on Tuesday. Raising the matter during 0 hour, Tiruchi Shiva of the DMK demanded constitution of Kaveri Management Board for water management and waiver on crop loans for the Tamil Nadu farmers.
You have been witnessing what all the ways of agitation they are doing. Their demands are to waive the loans immediately, and second, to constitute the Kaveri Management Board, linking our rivers, and to pensions for the retired old age farmers.
Sitaram Yechuri of the CPIM called it an irony that farmers who produce food for the entire country were forced to eat rats. D. Raja of the CPI joined ranks over the issue.
Farmers were showing me white rats they were eating, saying there is no food. They are unable to, sir, if this happens to the Annadata of our country, what will be the future of our country?
I think they are asking for all right, that's okay. Now I am only asking. This government remains so insensitive. Now government will have to respond.
Deputy Chairman PJ Kurian also asked the government to talk to the farmers to end their agitation for crop loan waiver.
I have also seen newspaper report of these farmers agitating, especially with the human skull, and then eating the rats. It is there for a long time, and every day newspapers are publishing. I only want to know why not one of the representatives of the government meet them and talk to them.
The government clarified that it is absolutely sensitive of the matter, but did not make any mention of the demands for farm loan waiver.
Sir, definitely I agree with the feeling of the honourable members. और जो आपने डायरेक्शन दिया है, निश्चित तौर से this issue is a very sensitive issue, very important issue. I will convey the concerned minister to do.
The crisis in the agriculture sector in Tamil Nadu has reached a mammoth proportion. Since October last year, every day reportedly 2 farmers commit suicide in the state. Since March 14th, a group of 80-odd farmers from Tamil Nadu are protesting at Jantar Mantar in Delhi, demanding financial relief as they have lost their crops and savings in the ongoing drought in the state. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday called the budget session a winner for the Treasury benches, with the government securing the passage of many key bills in Parliament. Addressing the BJP Parliamentary Party meeting a day before the session ends, Modi also pitched for pushing the reforms and development agenda. As the ruling party completes its 3rd anniversary next month, he asserted that there is a positive public mood in the ruling party's favour. A month-long celebration for the government's 3rd-year anniversary is slated to begin from the 24th of May. While the Lok Sabha has passed 21 bills, Rajya Sabha passed 14 bills in this current budget session, including the crucial GST and OBC bills. Modi further spoke about the massive win for BJP in the UP Assembly polls and said that the hope that his government generated among the masses in 2014 has now turned to confidence.
पिछले 3 साल में भारत सरकार के नेतृत्व में सबने मिलकर के जो हमने 14 में आशाएं जगाए थे, उस आशाओं आज एक विश्वास के रूप में वो बन गए हैं, ये भी उन्होंने सबके सामने रखा.
Prime Minister Modi today released a book, Matoshri, authored by Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan in the capital today. The book covers the life and times of Devi Ahilyabai Loholkar. The event was attended by a number of politicians, including Parliamentary Affairs Minister Anant Kumar. The function was also attended by several other MPs. The book release event was followed by a play depicting the struggles and qualities of Ahilyabai Holkar, who ruled the Holkar Empire spread over the Malwa region from 1767 to 1795. All right, without a quick break here, we'll be back with more national and international news in a bit. Stay with us.
Jade was popular during Mughal era and gained prominence during Akbar's rule in 15th and 16th century. It came all the way from Iran and Central Asia in attractive colors. The royalty had a unique use for it, since jade changed color when it came in contact with arsenic. They started utensils like plates, jars, bowls and even hookah with it, and thereby avoided getting poisoned by rivals.
Leaders like Jay Panda, Tathagat Satpathy, we've seen them involved in a Twitter war recently. What is this symptom actually?
These are individuals I don't want to comment upon. There are no other senior leaders where there is a problem.
BJD is going back to the old dark days of 1990s. There was widespread corruption, then sheltering of people with criminal backgrounds. All that is happening right now.
Apart from the chit fund, there is no other issue of allegation of corruption.
What happens to BJD after Naveen Patnaik?
Leadership evolves as times change.
Watch To The Point with Biju Janata Dal leader Pinaki Misra only on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. Let's continue getting you more national news. And in Jammu and Kashmir, the by-election to Anantnag constituency has been postponed to next month after the state witnessed unprecedented violence during Srinagar by-polls on Sunday. The Election Commission announced that the Anantnag by-election, which was slated for Wednesday, will now be held on 25th of May. Counting for votes will take place on the 1st of June. The EC's decision came after the ruling PDP appealed for the postponement after two government schools designated as polling stations were set on fire in Shopian and Pulwama districts on Monday. Meanwhile, Congress and National Conference demanded Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti's resignation for failing to ensure peaceful elections in Kashmir Valley. Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi blamed the PDP-BJP government in the state over its total failure, saying decades of hard work to build trust in the democratic process of Kashmir was being reversed by the ruling government. The Lok Sabha by-polls in Srinagar witnessed a turnout of just 7.14% on Sunday, marred by violence that left 8 people dead and hundreds injured.
पाकिस्तान सरकार से प्रेरित होकर कुछ युवाओं ने पत्थरबाजी की, चुनाव में बाधाएं डाली। ये देश के लिए निश्चित ही नुकसानदेह है। लोकतंत्र के लिए बहुत बड़ा ये धक्का बैठा हुआ है, शौक है। चुनाव होने चाहिए, जनता ने वोटिंग करनी चाहिए। जिन्होंने वोटिंग नहीं किया है, इसमें उन्हीं लोगों का नुकसान हो रहा है। पड़ोसी राष्ट्र पाकिस्तान से उसका जाना ये देश के हित में नहीं है। ये देश के लिए आह्वान भी है, लेकिन वहाँ की जनता का इसमें भारी नुकसान हो रहा है।
Law and order situation in Kashmir has reached the lowest ebb. Never before it had happened. Even at the peak of the atrocity, the terrorism in Kashmir, people in huge numbers came out and voted.
Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Adityanath ordered 18-hour power supply in villages and 20-hour supply at Tehsil level of the state, including Bundelkhand region. The state government also announced signing of the Power for All Pact with the centre to ensure electricity to all UP villages by 2019. The Chief Minister also directed the Power Department to ensure replacement of defective and burnt transformers in rural areas. The decisions were taken in the second cabinet meeting chaired by the Chief Minister.
सभी जिला अधिकारियों को ये आदेश जारी किए हैं कि वो खरीद केंद्र अपने अपने जिलों में जहां जहां आवश्यकता है, किसानों की जहां मांग है, वहां स्थापित करें और वो किसानों से उनका जो आलू है वो खरीदने का काम करें.
And here are more updates from across the country in Nationwide. Shutdown was observed in Kashmir for the second day today. Separatist factions had called for a 2-day strike after clashes with protesters during a by-election in Budgam district. in which 8 people died and more than 200 were injured. Security has been heightened across the region, with police blocking roads and barricades and restricting movement of vehicles. The Enforcement Directorate on Tuesday moved a special PMLA court in Mumbai to obtain a non-bailable warrant against Indian Islamic preacher Zakir Naik. The agency had issued summons 4 times so far. In December 2016, the ED had registered a case against IRF and Zakir Naik with a probe revolving around Naik's terror linkages, funding and investments in India and abroad. The Supreme Court will hear petitions over the extension of exchanging demonetized currency notes after a summer break. The centre had informed the Apex Court that it had taken a conscious decision not to extend the period beyond 30th December last year. It filed an affidavit in response to petitions by private individuals and a firm seeking a window like those given to NRIs to deposit the scrapped currency notes with the RBI. An Assam court has issued an arrest warrant against Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal after he failed to appear before it in connection with a defamation case. The case pertains to Kejriwal's tweet on the Prime Minister's educational qualification. The centre has told the Supreme Court that practices of triple talaq, nikah halala and polygamy impact the social status and dignity of Muslim women. It also added that it denied them fundamental rights guaranteed by the Constitution. In a fresh written submission filed before the Apex Court, the government reiterated its earlier stand and said that these practices rendered Muslim women unequal and vulnerable. Our international news now, and in Sweden, Rakhmat Akilov, the main suspect of the Stockholm truck attack that killed 4 people, has confessed to deliberately driving the stolen vehicle into crowds in the Swedish capital. The 39-year-old Uzbek citizen admitted to committing a terrorist crime last week in which 15 people were also injured. The construction worker was arrested in Marsta, a suburb north of Stockholm, several hours after the attack. Akilov was brought into the heavily guarded courts in handcuffs. Police say that he was denied residency in Sweden in 2014 and had expressed sympathy for the Islamic State group. 2 Swedes, 1 Belgian and a Briton were the victims of the 7th April attack. 9 people remain hospitalized, 2 of them in a serious condition. Here are more international news updates now in Global Buzz. North Korea has criticized the US after the US Pacific Command moved a set of warships to the Korean peninsula over the weekend. It said the US Navy strike group's deployment showed that America's reckless moves for invading had reached a serious phase. North Korea's military chief also said that his country was ready to mount a preemptive nuclear attack on South Korea and the US. US warships headed to the waters off Korea as a response to North Korea's recent missile launches. Turkey's Interior Ministry has ruled out any foul play in the explosion that rocked Turkey's Diyarbakir city, which killed 1 person and wounded several people on Tuesday. The blast is said to have occurred during the repair of a vehicle. The vehicle was being repaired in a police compound, causing a part of the roof to collapse as well. Turkey is 5 days away from a key referendum on granting President Recep Tayyip Erdogan sweeping new powers. A gunman walked into a US primary school and fatally shot his estranged wife in her class. An 8-year-old student was also killed in the crossfire. He then shot and killed himself. Police described the incident as a murder-suicide and said that the violent murder was caused possibly due to a domestic dispute between the 53-year-old couple. The school will be closed for 2 days for further investigations. And now a quick sports update. In India will take on Canada in the Davis Cup World Group Playoff starting 15th of September. India qualified for the playoff after beating Uzbekistan 4-1 in a home tie last week. The triumph was India's first under non-playing captain Mahesh Bhupathi. The victory also came without the services of veteran Leandro Paes, who was left out of the Indian squad for the first time in 27 years. Canada, on the other hand, had lost to Great Britain 2-3 in the World Group first round in February. That's all we have for you on the news tonight. From the entire team here, good night. We'll see you again tomorrow.